Alright lads, welcome to Bundoran, baby. Quick surf, and then we're going to hit a few pubs. Come on, baby! Woo! Not going until I get a big one, just fuck. Oh bollocks, here we go. Come on, you son. I'm playing with fire, having his GoPro in my hand. Okay, come on, that's it. Oh, brother.
Right, just checked in to the accommodation. It's called the Rolling Wave B&B. Room tour, boom, there's the room. Basic stuff, lads, but it'll do. Alright lads, just letting her fully settle. It was given to me straight away, which I like. Sometimes when the pub is busy, this pub is definitely not busy, but it's 4 o'clock on a fucking Wednesday, so I wouldn't expect it to be busy. But I've said on the channel before, do you prefer them to let it settle and then bring it to you and you can drink it straight away? I personally prefer when they give it to you the second they finish pouring it and then you can watch it settle, and it's especially helpful for me on the channel, because it gives me time to set the camera up, to take a picture on the phone for the gram, to tell you about the price, which was $5.50, which feels a little bit not expensive, like, but it's definitely more than I expected to pay. I just kind of thought like a small town kind of thing, but when you drive in here, it's my first time here, you realise it's very much not tourist. It's a mad place. It feels like you're kind of in the 90s. I was waiting for this to settle. A couple of little bubbles in the head. The head size, people say once it's above the harp, it's good. Probably people might say tiny bit big, not the most damage, but clean glass, which is a huge thing I've come to appreciate lately, and also glass and temperature feels good. So those are very important things. Sláinte lads, Bundoran, County Donegal. Tasty drop. Oh, thick, creamy from the get-go. Taste-wise, something not quite there, but she's thick and creamy, and that's all you want. And especially, I always say it, but like, I just drove 3 hours to get here. The first one is always mighty, especially when it's boiling outside. You come into a shaded pub and you drink a lovely pint like that. But I was saying, you drive into Bundoran, it feels like my mother, shout out Matt if you're watching, my mother is from Waterford. So we used to go down to like Tremor the odd time during the summers. And it was that it was like a Freddy's arcade, these kind of arcade places and ice cream shops and cinemas and just stuff like that, where just really nostalgic, to be honest. So it kind of, if I wouldn't say the place is like, I'm not even saying that it needs to change, it just is very quiet, sort of a dated spot, but it's just seems like a place you just bring the kids, you know what I mean? But yeah, so far so good. Surprisingly little amount of shtick. Big fat creamy head. It's a shame about the shtick, because again, the clean glass, when people say the feckin' dirty glass will bring on shtick and blah blah blah. We've been doing this channel 4 years. I could do it another 40 years, I still wouldn't really know what exactly would give you a good shtick, and that is shame on me. Very drinkable, head staying thick and fat till the end. Those couple of little micro bubbles, I thought they might make it not as thick, but she's thick, lads. Just thick and no shtick. All thick and no shtick. By the way, I'm shooting this video on the 14th of June, Wednesday. Sea Sessions, if you don't know, it's a big popular festival by the sea. It takes place in Bundoran, right here every year. It's on in 2 days' time. Probably the busiest weekend of the year in this town. and I just happened to be coming like 2 days before it, so maybe it's a sign. It very much feels like calm before the storm around the town. No one's out, everyone's keeping their head down. Whew, score, Jesus, my head's gone with the scoring system. I am gonna go a little bit more steak would have been nice, but very happy out with that pint. Really solid, thick, creamy stuff. 8.2 out of 10. Bit of steak would have been nice, but it was thick, it was creamy, and it was fucking lovely. All right, lads, a quick word from the sponsor of the video. These videos cannot be made for free, unfortunately. We got to drive up there. The price of diesel these days, we got to stay over. We got to pay to rent a fucking surfboard. So a massive thank you to the lads over at Manscaped for sponsoring this video. The best in below the waist grooming. The best bang for your buck is going to be the Performance Package 4.0. It's the Lawnmower 4.0 with the skin safe technology. It's waterproof, got an LED light, greatly reduces the chances of nicking those gonads downstairs. The new and improved Weed Whacker 2.0 gets pretty much anywhere where the lawnmower can't. Not your arse, you freak. Nose and ears. We've got the Crop Preserver ball deodorant. Keep those balls chilly, cool in the heat, because it's warm. Comes in a really handy bag called the Shed, great for traveling. If it sounds like a good deal to you, go to manscaped.com, use my code, you know it by now, PINTS20, to get 20% off, plus free shipping. Shipping, delivery, is shipping an American thing to say? Who gives the ship? Back to the video. So he fairly went for the jugular on the domage, resulting in a little bit of spillage, but to be honest I don't care. Look at the Romeo and Juliet on that, couple of bubbles, but we'll say nothing to no one. Sláinte, lads, I am absolutely sweating. Oh baby, that's good shit. That's so good I forgot to take a fucking Insta-wanker picture. First impressions of this place, when you walk in, you're kind of like, okay. I don't think quirky is the right word. Like, it's definitely different. It's just kind of, it's colorful. It's got the cows' faces everywhere. Exhibit A behind me. But I like it. It kind of seems like a young, cool, like if I think Sea Sessions, which is the festival that's on this weekend, I would imagine somewhere like this place. The barman who poured the pint was saying a lot of Guinness and Heineken would be poured this weekend. And I'd say, you know, if I was 22 years old and I was coming up here for the weekend, like this would be definitely a spot I'd be frequenting for the weekend. So yeah, I think it's a pretty cool place. Definitely different than, it's not your typical old man pub, but I think it's a pretty cool, it's nearly got a bit of an American vibe off of it, but I like it. I think it's pretty cool. And I'm not just saying that. That's a good drop, all right. The age-old argument of like really good domage, but it was slightly over-poured. Can you really give credit for the domage? But if it's only a tiny bit over-poured, then I don't know. It's not a million miles away from the pub I had in Madden's, to be totally honest with you, lads. Very sinkable. That's an adjective I would use to describe this pint. And the last one, very sinkable. But I suppose a hot day, you come into a shaded pub, they're all sinkable, even if they're rotten, but these aren't rotten. And then if you watch the Newcastle video, lads, the last video, I was saying about how things are gonna change a little bit soon. Instead of rambling on about like this might happen and that might happen, so basically, yeah, if you haven't seen that, I was saying that the Guinness stuff is gonna kind of come to an end and blah, blah. But just bear with me, I'm gonna make of this and maybe one more place that I wanna do the best Guinness in. And then the content is going to change a little bit. I'm going to change the name of the channel, put it just to my own name, but I will make a full video explaining it around the end of this month, and this month is what, June. So don't cry your hearts out. I'm not going anywhere. It's just the content is going to change a little bit, and I will explain then. So I'm absolutely sick. I fucking sank that. That sank like the Titanic. Is that bad to say? Gone in fucking no time. The only difference is the shtick is a bit better than Madden's. Taste was almost borderline the exact same. I gave Madden's an 8.2. This is gonna have to it's the only thing is a couple of layers of shtick. I'm gonna go 8.3 out of 10. Really good score so far. Really enjoying these pints. Didn't give you the fucking price. Checked it out. Internet banking. What did they take off me? I didn't get a receipt. $5.50. Yeah, the exact same. Probably gonna be Probably going to be $5.50 across the board. Right lads, 2 pubs down, 2 to go. Just went back to the B&B behind me to chill out for half an hour, charge up the camera. The next pub, the Railway Bar. It's been a while since I've anticipated a pub this much. It's been talk of the town, everyone's saying get to the Railway. Even I'm posting my Instagram stories of the last 2 pubs and everyone just keeps saying, don't mind them, get to the Railway. The sea is in front of me, it's very calm, it's very beautiful, it's very warm still. It's about 6:30 in the evening. It really is a beautiful part of the world. Let's go to the Railway. Please live up to the hype.
We're all good. What's the crack?
Well, I hear it's the best Guinness in Bundoran, so.
I have been more places than they have been they're saying they don't access to I was going to start I know you're
Test. Well, that's trying to get myself into a corner where the sun's not beating down on me. And you rarely get actual Guinness coasters, so Guinness stealing the tilt test thing from me and putting on a coaster. Sure, listen, I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. It looks great. Dome is fucking no place like Dome. It's one of those Guinness glasses where it's quite worn, like in a good way. I'm trying to see the year. Can't even see the year, can you? Oh yeah, '08. This glass is from 2008, lads. You'd rarely get that. That means it's been many a pint has been drank out of this glass, and I don't mind once it's clean, and it is perfectly clean. 15-year-old glass, perfectly clean. That's very impressive. 1 or 2 little bubbles in the head, but I feel like that's probably because they just opened, so I forgive that. But serious Dome just looks pretty much bang on perfect. Sláinte lads, been looking forward to this one, and they were very nice to me when I came in, to be fair, but that's not going to come into the score. Oh baby, Sláinte, the money shot. Oh yeah. Yeah, so it's always a weird one when a pub gets recommended so much because, sorry, I'm in the fucking dark here. When a pub gets recommended so much because you're having that first sup and you're just like, it's impossible to not be thinking of that sort of stuff when you're having the first sup and the second sup and the whole thing. And you might think to yourself, not that it's happening here, but you might think to yourself, like, it's happened in the past. I take a sup of a place that's been really highly recommended. I'm like to myself, it doesn't taste that amazing. And then I nearly tell myself, but it must be amazing. I must be crazy because of all the recommendations. So I've learned is I just have to drown out all of that noise and focus on the pint at hand, pint in hand. And that's all I can do. But luckily, it's very, very good. Nice little pub. Seems like a bit of a horse racing, a bit of a horsey pub. Horse racing on the telly. There's fucking horses all over the walls. And just a nice little vibe. Kind of seems fairly no nonsense. Like wouldn't probably have too many young people coming in here. That's just my guess. It's just your standard pub, which is all I really want in a pub. I don't want that in fancy. It definitely does the job, you know. Nice little setup in here. Now back to the pints. Good gear, good temperature. Kind of got that crystally ice cream effect that I feel like I haven't talked about in a long time, where it's like got this weird sort of light sweetness to it, as if there was like half a scoop of vanilla ice cream in it, which I really like because we know that Guinness isn't, when you're looking for taste, you're not, it's a weird one. I never know how to describe it. Like it's obviously quite a bitter stout and you're not really looking for it to taste like delicious, but usually like the creaminess and stuff makes the taste, and that's kind of what's happening here. It's just got that light, really tiny sweetness to it that I really, really love in a pint. So I'm impressed so far. I'll be honest, it's not like people are messaging me saying you're going to give a 9 to the railway and all this. It's not like blowing my absolute head off. But it's like, it's a really good pint. But it's just, that's the pressure that people put on the pub when they recommend it so much. So, yeah, but no, it's very good. Here we go. Very good. Just hoping for like a high 8s. It's, don't get me wrong, really, really good pint. But I wouldn't be able to give it into high 8s. To be honest, I don't have much of a difference. The 3 pints I've had so far have been very similar. I'm going to put it right there at 8.3. So yeah, interesting one. It's not like it's bad, but the standard in the other 2 pubs was very high as well. So it's always a good sign when a town has very similar Guinness across the board. Yeah, just another really good Bundoran pint, but I was kind of expecting it to be incredible. It's very good, but was hoping for an scandalously good one. But it definitely delivered. A very good pint. One more pub to go. Right lads, just out of the railway bar. Look at this. The lovely girl came over to me as I was leaving. They asked for a little picture behind the bar, as you do, shaking hands, kissing babies. You know how it is. She goes, "This for you," little thing. Like, unbelievable. It's got so much stuff in here. Guinness hat, all these local beers, Teo, Guinness fucking coasters, and the best part, because we're by the sea, a sticker rock. So all I'll say is I'm very glad she gave me that after I gave the score, because I definitely feel like I totally would have felt buttered up and probably would have given it a higher score. But I don't feel guilty about the score. I mean, just good, solid pints all around, you know what I mean? So yeah, but I mean, you can't say that's not a nice little touch, so fair play. All right, lads, off to pub 404. Sun is starting to go down. This pub it's called the Celtic Marina or something. It's actually, I'm walking by a lot of quiet houses. It's slightly out of the town, I would say. Not like it's too far of a walk, but oh shit, I see shutters are down. We'll update in a minute. It looks open, lads. This shutter wasn't too inviting, but yeah, it looks open. Right lads, before I comment on the pub, this pint is fully settled. It looks pretty good domage. Bit of a tilt test. Yes please, okie dokie. Looks creamy, perfect glass, obviously perfect glass. Also a glass, clean pint, very few bubbles in the head. Probably arguably the best looking pint I've had. The railway had a really good dome, but it kind of had a few bubbles in it. A couple of tiny bubbles in the head. None of the pints I've gotten today have looked absolutely perfect, but they've all tasted pretty good. So let's get stuck in. Tell you what, decent bit of gear that. I feel like I need to edit out what I was saying. Is it Celtic or Celtic? You gotta remember lads, I'm going in absolutely blind, absolutely clueless. Like a lot of facets of my life, I'm clueless. So I didn't know it was Celtic Marine, Celtic Marine. You quickly realise when you walk through the door, it's Celtic. It's I guess a Celtic pub, very patriotic, Republican bar. Is that the right term? Apologies, this is not my area of expertise at all. All I care about, I don't care what the pub stands for or doesn't stand for. All I care about is the Guinness. If the pub stands for a good Guinness, then I'm there. No one really, there's like 2 other lads in here, one wearing a Celtic jersey. Very fitting. It's a grand layout, then it's just about, then there's just a lot of Ireland flags and Celtic crests, and yeah, nice little bar. Definitely kind of, I'm not surprised there's no one really in here because it is a little bit out of the town. Not really, but maybe like a 5-minute walk. Not that I'm surprised, but I feel like if a bar is focused so much on the Celtic and Irish side of things, are they putting that much effort into their Guinness? Well, they definitely are here. Steak is going to be great. It's thick, it's creamy. Really pleasantly surprised. It was recommended a good bit, but not near as much as the railway, so interesting one. I don't think I'll ever properly figure out how it goes down with the recommendations on Instagram, because I often think, especially if I see a lot of them right after each other, because it kind of tells you at what time people sent them. Like someone could just text into a WhatsApp of like 50 people and be like, oh, will you go onto the Guinness Gurus page and say this pub, and then they get like 20 messages in a row, and then they could be the deciding factor in that being the most requested pub. So honestly, that's why I have to go in with an open mind and not be biased, even though a place got more recommendations or a place didn't. Like, you could get the best pint. If you're going to 4 pubs, you could get the best pint in the pub with the 4th amount of recommendations. So I think this had maybe the 2nd or something, but yeah, strange, mad. I mean, that's a serious pint, not a whole lot wrong with it. Absolutely lovely. Could be on for a bit of an upset here. Could have a bit of an upset. Look at that beauty. So far aesthetically, it was probably the best looking pint at the start and also the best looking pint at the end. As good, if not better, than the rest of them. Probably similar. It's thick, it was creamy, it looks great. Some really great pints. I'm happy to give that an 8.4 out of 10, lads. Best pint for me in Bundoran. You just never know where you're going to get a good Guinness. The Celtic Marine, it just literally, I feel like I'm in a pub across the road from Celtic Park in Parkhead in Glasgow. I've never been. I've been in Glasgow, but I've never been to a Celtic game or anything like that. But that's what this pub feels like. It's a proper, we love Celtic, and of course Celtic kind of pub. But regardless, if it's a Celtic pub, if it's a feckin' Rangers pub, I couldn't care less what the pub stands for. If it has a fucking cracking pint of Guinness, I'm going to be there. And that's an amazing pint of Guinness for the Celtic Marine bar. Go on, Celtic. Right, lads, a great pint had at the Celtic Marine bar. I've just gone to the B&B, changed into these skimpy little swim shorts, and I've just had a little dip while the sun was setting in this beautiful outside pool. Where would you get it, lads? Bundoran, a beautiful, beautiful part of the world, and I really mean that, with some solid Guinness across the board. Literally, I think we had an 8.2, 2 8.3s and an 8.4. Really, really good standard, and all similar prices as well. I think 3 pints 5.50, 1 pint 5.40. So, I mean, literally, any of those 4 pubs would give you a cracking pint of Guinness, to be fair. Bundoran, thanks for having me. Anyone coming to C sessions this weekend, enjoy. I'll be out the gap as you're coming in tomorrow. Genuinely beautiful part of the world. See you in the next video.